Hey, what's up guys? Joe here, Tavern TCG, bringing you the newest discussion video, and I wanted to talk about this next upcoming meta because I feel like it's very important. And I want to talk about this deck that kind of took a back burner. I want to talk about Grimm today, guys. So, as we know, when Grimm first came out, or not even when Grimm first came out, but when this game first released, especially with all the booster sets, Grimm was basically the dominant source of the game. So, Grimm would come out, just searching anything in the deck, which is basically in Yu-Gi-Oh terms an infinite rota. It was absolutely insane just by discarding a Fairytale resonator and paying any will. And then on top of that too, the continuous ability of paying any attribute to play any Fairytale resonator that you want. It was just absolutely insane. So you just played green mana ramp and played whatever you want. So it just dominated the meta of what we had at the time. So, but obviously now, guys, with the Alice structure decks, AL1 or A1 coming out, or actually A1 out now with Seven Kings of the Land, and on top of that too, Bahamut with Leviathan was just insanely deadly. So this deck really took a back burner. But I feel like with the release of Seven Kings of the Land, that the deck is going to actually be a force to be reckoned with again, and it's going to be making a strong comeback. So obviously we have decks that are basically going to be based off of Fairy Tales again. So Grimm's obviously going to be the main, I feel personally, the main Fairy Tale ruler. But obviously we have the new Alice. So we have Alice the Girl in the Looking Glass. So this is the ruler side. So to J activate, it's one blue and one colorless. And then on top of that, too, you can tap her down at any point and search your main deck for a deep blue, the Phantom board, and reveal it and just put it into your hand. So that's actually really solid for what deep blue does. On top of that, if you can't find, or not if you can't find, I'm sorry, but if you can't rip one off the top of the deck, either in your opening hand or as a top deck as you go along in the game. So she helps with that consistency issue of not having the regalia that you need in hand. But then on top of that, too, she also has her two sides. So she's got the new, I'm trying to remember which one had two different sides. Was it Pandora? Yes, it was Pandora. That's right. So she's basically the new Pandora. So when she flips over, now you have Alice the Saint of Healing. So this is one of her sides that you can use. So for two colorless, target resonator gets plus 1,000 defense, which is absolutely crazy. It's a big number, but they're not going to be able to kill anything that you have, really, especially if you're going to be using this. It's absolutely insane. You can tap her down, and then the target resonator cannot be targeted by spells or abilities until end of turn. And then her God's Art, I think, is okay. It's fairly solid. J resonators you control cannot be targeted by spells or abilities until end of turn, and then draw 3 cards. It's really good, especially for just one blue and one green if you want that hand consistency, just to draw cards. And I feel like that helps give blue a little bit of a draw engine again, and I personally loved playing like a blue-green control. So I honestly think that this is going to be a solid build. I think I might actually main Alice the Saint of Healing, to be honest. Just for that effect, because it's everything I've always wanted in a deck. But enough about me, guys. We're talking about Alice today. And Grimm. So Alice, or like I mentioned before, she has a second side. So this is her Valkyrie Fairytale side. So this is the one that basically goes with all the Fairytale resonators, like I was mentioning before, that when she enters the field, you can search your main deck for a Fairytale resonator, reveal it, and put it into your hand. And then counters on the Fairytales that you control actually cannot be removed by any effects at all whatsoever. So if you play cards like the next ones I'm about to show you, they're just not going to lose their counters, which is absolutely insane. And then her God's Art, I feel like, is even better. So you pay 1 blue, 1 red, and it deals 500 damage to target resonator. And for another colorless, you can copy this ability and even choose a new target for the copy of the ability. So you can technically pop up to 2 different things on your opponent's side of the field, which is pretty nutty. But then, of course, we have Deep Blue, the Phantom board, the little bit of the engine in this deck. So for a blue, you can produce a fire or a green will. Which obviously makes you main blue, obviously, in the deck. So then you have 2 colorless and tap it down to search your main deck for any soldier resonator with a total cost of 1. Reveal it, put it to your hand, and if your ruler is J-ruler, is Alice the Girl in the Looking Glass, Alice the Saint of Healing, or Alice the Valkyrie of Fairy Tales, you can put it into your field instead and then shuffle your deck. So if Deep Blue's out, obviously there's that new card that we talked about in a previous video called Alice's Soldier, so you can just pop that right onto the board, and on top of that too, you can just get your cycle engine of the draw. And then there's other soldier cards too, but I think Alice's Soldier is the best one in my personal opinion, just because of that draw factor. And then you could discard another copy of this one and actually produce a red, blue, or green will. So really good for mana consistency if you really need to get that that little late game going. And now here's the cards that I think are going to boost Grimm and Alice. Again, I really want to know what you guys think. This is just my personal perspective on these cards. I think Cinderella is a really solid kill card. It's almost like the new, in my opinion, especially for fairy tales, it's like the new, I don't know, I lost Lancelot. That's his name. So basically, when she enters the field, well, not basically, it's her effect. When she enters the field, you put a glass counter on her. And she gains +6/+0 as long as she has a glass counter on her. When she deals damage, you would remove a glass counter from it, but you can also pay 2 blue to bounce her back in a hand. So she's a really good kill card, and she's also very trolly because if your opponent's trying to get rid of her, you can just bounce her back, especially if you're playing blue. So really good kill card, especially for only 2 mana. You really can't beat that. To have an 8/8 for 2, it's in my opinion almost too good. But I really like Cinderella. I'm probably going to play it. The question is, what deck will we play her in? Is she going to be seen more in Grimm, or is she going to be seen more in more like an Alice, the Saint of Healing? But that's not the only card that's coming out in this set, guys. Obviously, there's Cinderella, but you can't forget about as I'm skipping ahead, you can't forget about Snow White, the Valkyrie of Passion. So this is the red one now. Swiftness and First Strike, really, really, really good, especially for a 2 red and 1 colorless. For 5/7, whenever she attacks, you can put a passion counter on her. When she attacks, she can deal 300 damage to target resonator for each passion counter on it. If it does, you would remove all passion counters from it. So that's really good if you're just pumping out attacks with her. She can just deal 300 damage just because. And on top of that, too, it's really hard to kill her because she's a 5/7. She can't be thundered. You have to attack into her. And then on top of that, too, she got 500 attack on her own. So then you have to worry about what's on your side of the board. So Snow White and Cinderella, I feel like, are a force to be reckoned with. And especially since they're searchable guys and Grimm, and you can play them for any color. It's absolutely insane. Then you also have their own spell. They have their own little I guess like a thunder you can call it, where you can actually tap down Snow White and Cinderella rather than paying the card's cost itself for the 2 red and colorless to burn for 600 damage to target J resonator or player. So it's the new thunder if you're going to be playing Snow White and Cinderella. In my personal opinion, especially if you're trying to get some burn in there. A lot of burn on top of that, because you're playing, a lot of people are playing 4 Thunder. You're going to be playing, if you play something like this, if you're playing Black-Red, then you're going to have what you call Flames of Outer Worlds. So there's a lot of burn going on in this game right now. So War Dance of the Valkyries is just adding on to that for just the cost of tapping down your 2 resonators that you have, the Cinderella and the Snow White, which are really easy to get out. So again, guys, what I really want to know is, do you think Grimm is going to be good? Obviously, I talked more about Alice rather than Grimm, but Grimm I honestly think is going to be the main ruler for these kinds of cards, just for the fact that, again, you can search out Cinderella and Snow White, and it's just going to make them insanely consistent, just especially for kill cards and burning and just popping things on your opponent's side of the field. It's going to be absolutely insane. So Grimm is just, I personally feel, is going to make another appearance in this meta, but what do you guys think? Do you think Grimm is going to actually make an appearance back in the meta? Do you guys think that Alice is going to be the main thing? And if Alice is going to be the main thing, which Alice do you think it will be? Do you think it'll be Alice, the Valkyrie of Fairy Tales, or the Saint of Healing? Let us know in the comments below, guys. I'd love to hear what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook. We've got a lot more coming. I've also got a case opening video coming for you starting on Monday because my package is running a little bit late. But I'll get that up for you. And check out the other tavern videos we have because we also have another case opening going on, guys. So hit us up. If there's anything you would like to see, just let me know, and I'll get it done for you. This is Joe from Tavern TCG signing off, and we'll see you next time.